Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Behind the Screens. I'm one of your co-hosts, Joel.
My name is Abe. Nice to meet you.
A little background of each and every one of us. So I was born in Mexico, Michoacan. Both of my parents, mom and dad, are both from Michoacan. Came over to the States when we were 6 years old. My mom grew up most of my life over in East Hollywood, which is her and my two sisters and my brother. And since a young age, I always felt maybe because out of the need of all the kids were walking around wearing like Sean John, Rockaware, like all that stuff, or just even that. We never really had a lot of that, which was like fine because we still had everything else that we needed. Um, but because of that, I always had like this whole thing of also like why do I want to walk around like wearing the same thing as everybody in my high school or junior high was wearing. So I've always had this thing where like I've always wanted to make clothes, and I've always wanted to make clothes. Started off with like stencils, like airbrushing, like stuff like that. And then just a quick background of like obviously like who I am and all that. Started been screen printing for a while now. Learned a lot of my funny mentions from my boy David. Shout out Wishful Thinkings. And as everybody else, I think I've had like many different brands throughout the years. None of them ever really stuck. But I'm sure I was learning from this one, from that one, like picking up certain stuff. So now we have Filthy Couture,
That one stuck,
and it's up,
and it's up,
and it's up. It's about to be the 2 year mark.
and it's going even more up.
The 2 year mark of Filthy Couture. We'll go more into details of just how that whole thing happened, even like in a few. But I guess like one of my main goals and everything is just I just want to keep doing this for every single person who like grew up with a matricula, like all those undocumented kids. We just never thought that like any of this could be possible, and it
It's
is.
possible.
It definitely take time, but yeah. That's a little bit more of me.
But I think that's probably why we get along so well, along with a lot of the other people that like David for himself as well. I also was born in Mexico, born in Chihuahua or Chihuahua. You know what I mean? I threw a little
Chihuahua.
accent in there. Came out this way when I was about 3.5, 4 years old. Not to LA necessarily. Grew up in Central California, middle of nowhere.
Valley.
The other valley that is not so really talked about. Made my way out this way again, like you. Started another brand, started some things, started screen printing early 20s. Kind of learned from that, took from this, took from that, and eventually kind of decided to get rid of the other one, get rid of that towards some friends out in a different country. And then Sacred and Profane was kind of lingering around. That's my brand, by the way. And over the years, I was in about 2016, kind of just lingering and lingering. And then I was just like, you know what, fuck it. After we had met through a mutual friend of ours, or through a friend of a mutual friend, uh, you know, uh, talk about Adrian.
Shout out Adrian,
Adrian.
Wargucci, R.I.P.
Yeah, and it's
Great
one of
guy.
those things where like after he passed, I feel like we definitely got a lot closer along with a couple
Yeah.
of our other friends. Definitely a handful of them. And so the cool thing about it was that we all kind of had like a lot of similar backgrounds or similarities, whether it was creatively, came from a different location. We're not really from the area, but grew up around the areas or moved out this way and really embraced, I guess you could say, the LA lifestyle. Because one thing that I will say is that a lot of people who are transplants, so to speak, are always bitching and complaining about LA. Let me tell you, like, that's not something that I complain about at all. I fucking
Yeah.
love it out here. So everybody who is a transplant complaining and bitching, it's like, yo, get the fuck over it. It's definitely on some real shit. It's dope. If you can't make it out here, it's not LA. It's just your bitch ass who don't know what the fuck you're doing. And with that, let me just say that anything that I express, any views or thoughts or anything like that, does not reflect on Filthy Couture whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, I think like that's definitely part of the whole connection that we had as friends, along with the creative side of it and behind the screens, as if you will, and just how we all really came to be where we're at now, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, this obviously we've been talking about having this podcast for a great time.
Yeah,
Um,
technical difficulties kind of got in the way of that, which is why
yeah,
the brand on my end hasn't really been where it's at. But we're here. Um,
we're
yeah,
not
we're not.
Yeah.
But
So
get used to
what's
it, you
cool
know.
is that out of all the places that we all could have like landed, because I always think about that. Like even with my mom, like when we first immigrated over here,
Yeah.
bro, we could have gone anywhere in the world.
I mean, I definitely went to
But
like the
like,
middle of nowhere,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
somehow I still made my way out this way. But I definitely, a lot of Chihuahuenses go to like Colorado, New Mexico, especially Texas. But for some reason, they always end up in Colorado. I don't know if it's just like, boom, straight up. And then Kansas is another one, which is crazy. I have family out in Kansas. That's another thing. But we
Yeah.
definitely could have, yeah, it's kind of weird. We definitely could have ended up in different spots
That's what I'm saying. Like
from
my mom could have
Michoacan
probably been
to,
like, well, my mom probably could have been like,
we go to Rhode
oh
Island.
shit, well like San Diego,
Or yeah, I
like
went,
we're good here, right? But I mean, like obviously, like, and I came, they myself heavy, but I came the weekend of the Ronnie King
that's
riots.
fire though. Like, what an
So,
iconic time to show
bro,
up in
because I
LA.
remember, yeah, and I remember coming and like we lived in an apartment in MacArthur Park,
Okay.
right by where like the KFC used to be at. Like if you're familiar around the area, like it's right next to the Mexican console, and we lived up that street. And I remember like all night long hearing like so many fucking sirens, like all this shit going on,
It's crazy.
not knowing like what the fuck we just came into. But also like I also just like
Wait, was that 92?
yeah, but also at that moment like had just crossed the border, and by cross the border I mean like we came like over the Sierra
Right.
with my mom, which is like a whole other fucking wild story, you know what I mean? But
Echando la
I
lucha
remember
por
like
el
I remember
cerro.
my uncle, R.I.P. as well, seeing him come home with like stereos,
That's fire. That's so
TVs, like, because
TVs.
again, I mean, in like MacArthur Park, like Rampart Station, like that was the division, and where the guys who had beat up Ronnie King.
So at the time though, did you know what was really
No, man,
happening? Like, are you
not at
just
all.
like tripping out
I
and
have no
while like,
idea
hey,
what the
my
fuck.
tío showing up with todas estas
Bro, we literally just
televisiones?
like I was like, all I knew was like TJ, and like the next day, like
Just chaos.
desmadre. You know
Okay.
what I mean? But again, over and over again, I've always, I can't emphasize enough of just, growing up because of certain either like legal status. I always felt like, what's the point of anything if I won't be able to do anything with
Well, because you were
my career?
limited.
Because yeah, because you're very limited. You know what I mean? I
Well,
mean,
the system is
thank
definitely
God for like the
fucked.
Dream Act
Yeah.
and like all the dreamers and stuff like that, and like all those ways that are able to get it done. And like I mean, again, like it's no so we thin,
It's illegal. Nah.
échenle ganas,
I
like
mean, yes, but at the same time, it's like, hey, don't tell me that all the time. Because it's like,
keep going
oh,
though.
but
But you
keep
know what I'm
going though.
saying?
It's an endless
Yeah,
battle, but I mean, battles are won, right? I
yeah, of
mean,
course.
so I mean,
And again, this is a pilot. It's great. Another big thing about behind the screens is obviously I'm sure you guys caught on my cool little witty, behind the scenes, behind the screens because we're
screen
screen
printing.
printers. And obviously we're not just going to be interviewing screen printers.
Yeah, it's also screens, camera, screen behind like television, radio, different things. Eventually, merging the different
People want to
people
be
that
in
we
front,
know
behind the
behind the
camera.
camera. Yeah,
Just
different
any
creatives.
creatives, any other homies that like
Absolutely,
are doing anything at all. Have their own small business. I love just talking business and like
you
shop
just
like that
love
about shit like that. Like
talking in general.
I like I love talking just in general,
It's
but I
fun.
also like love hearing like other people like, yo, you really had an idea and like made that shit a reality and
And
like
now
put it
you're
into
making money off
fruition.
of it. You're living off that shit. It's your dream. Like
I mean, again, like bro,
it's
like
fire.
we're here. You know what I mean? Like I remember like
Could have been somewhere else.
many nights like talking with David on the phone at like 2 in the morning, like talking about like, yo, imagine one day like we'll be able to have our brands like doing so well that we'll be able to like have studios where we can just like work out of, like not even where we live, but designated area. Like I mean,
Manifestation is real,
look at
man.
this
You
fucking
guys made that
spot, bro.
happen. We're in the studio, paying your bills,
Yeah,
living the dream.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Like, there's definitely times that I'll sit back and I mean. I showed you the pictures of like I mean you were there for when I had the smaller studio next door,
yeah.
and when I first came in here, I mean I
I think we looked at this one. Well, you had already seen it, but we came and looked at this one and then another one
yeah.
down the hallway. But it was like, yo, cool. Like, who would have thought that we'd be looking out at the strip club down below, and then downtown LA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've definitely like do have those moments, and I still do where like I come in here and I'm like, where I literally have a spot where I can come. and work here, and this has made a reality. You know what I mean? It's fucking it's amazing. I love that shit.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm with it. I love it. I love that you gotten to this point. As somebody who, and along with a lot of our other friends who've all kind of struggled a little bit, we've and seen the journey that you've taken.
Mm,
Has been motivating to say the least, but also the fact that you've been willing to help us all out
yeah.
and almost like peg us out of retirement, one would say. You
Say
know,
back.
yeah, beg us to come back like out of
Yeah,
retirement. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And make that shit happen is dope because not a lot
You
of
said
people
peg, right?
beg. Yeah, like
Okay.
yeah. You saying peg?
No, no.
No, I didn't. No,
But I mean,
like
so I mean, all right, but
but yeah, like
you've
to
been
get
on.
us back on track.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because you need a kick in the ass sometimes.
Well, I mean, that's the main thing, right? That like with all my homies
Shout
and
out to my exes
shout out to your exes for pushing you.
away.
Um, yeah, but it's also and obviously there's a lot of homies and like friends that I've taught also like how to screen print and I've taught them the knowledge
Yeah,
and I'd love to have them on.
of
But there's
course.
a couple, one specifically
We won't mention his name though.
that I would never want to like bring on because I mean the thing is you can't.
But he
You know
does have
well they always
some nice incense holders. But I'm not gonna say his name.
well not even him.
Oh, not this guy.
No, this
Oh,
is
the
fine.
other guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude. Well, yeah, no,
Listen, I'm blessed.
yeah.
And
I
the
think
thing
I would say
is,
I'm favored.
I'm
Highly.
heavily favored by God. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like this is like it's gracias a Dios. Like everything has been
I
amazing.
mean, you put that on a. Oh, what you did? You put that on a fucking shirt.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, you
just
did.
gotta give thanks every
Of
day.
course, absolutely.
I mean, again, like I really do get to wake up every single day and like
Do what you love.
live my dream.
Yeah.
And but again, it's they say yeah, give someone a fish, you'll feed him for a day. Like teach him how to fish, and you'll teach a man how to feed himself.
Yo, do you know how to fish though? Like on some
Yeah,
real shit. I
yeah,
fucking love that shit.
yeah.
I haven't done it in so long.
I
It's
know.
fun. It's good.
Yeah,
You should go.
like tying, like there's like certain knots that you can tie and shit like that. Like I would like throw my cast out.
You ever done fly fishing though? I feel like that you just be
I can't
standing
fly.
with like you don't actually like. I mean, I would love to fly, and I wish we could, but no, you just
Fishing,
kinda,
wait,
fly fishing,
flash fishing,
fly.
fly.
Yeah,
A
it's
fish
like
flies.
some kind of they got, but no, it's a
Are you
different
saying
form.
the action of like wait, like we're flying with the fishes?
No, we're fishing in like a low stream river, and then you kind of get like these long ass like rods, and you just kind of you do this little thing, and you fucking throw the rod like not the rod but the weight.
Okay, your line.
No, dead ass. You find like a lot of
No, I mean
people.
you throw your line.
The
That's what
line,
I'm
well, the
saying.
line, yeah, and the bait, and then a lot of
Well,
dudes
that's your
in
line.
Washington do that shit. Like I used to work with some guys who would do that, but you literally stand in the same place all day. But I mean, well, you never that's not. I mean, I would.
But all right, with that, I used to go with the homies to Santa Monica
Are those fish?
Pier.
But are they okay to eat?
I mean, I
though?
never ate that shit.
You know what's funny is
Everything was like cash and release for me, or I would give it to
I don't understand that. Like
or I would
because
give it to some of the like whoever else was like there who
to a
did
homeless.
take. No, not
Oh,
no
I
other
thought you were gonna
fishermen.
say no because okay, so Jerobi, the homie, is
I've
he
caught a
lives-
lobster before.
You didn't
Go
eat
ahead.
that. Well, no, because I'm saying because he lives in Florida and he's always talking about he's going fishing, but he fishes the damn fish out of the whatever the hell, and then he releases a damn thing, and I'm always giving him shit for not eating the
Just stabbing those
fish.
fools up.
Well, I mean, I would grill it or something, con un poquito de mayonesa, you know what I mean, like whatever.
Like a mojarra.
Like, yeah, pero pues
Wait, is a
una
mojarra
parrilla, güey.
like tilapia?
Una mojarra, güey,
Una mojarra.
pescado, güey.
Güey, una vez me estaba comiendo una mojarra.
Y te
And
picó
like,
el hueso.
sí, güey, me picó la garganta, güey.
No
Like,
mames, te gustó
güey, no mames,
Chivas,
la verga.
güey.
No, güey, me agüité, güey, porque
Porque
every
no te
time
gustó.
every time that I was trying to breathe, that shit would like start poking you.
Well,
Thought I was scared.
some people like that though.
You know what? Then
You
my
just
mom's like,
know.
"Hey, you gotta swallow this piece of banana." Pause, so I could like push the spine
Really
down.
quick side note: have you seen the video of that guy who's like who just had surgery and his mom's putting a popsicle like around his mouth just to kind of give him to eat something? He's like, "No, mom, I like girls." And that was just like it was funny as hell.
That's real.
Yeah, it was on Instagram. I just saw it, I think yesterday. It was pretty funny.
But because of that, not that, but because of like
Because
the
of the
mojarra
fish.
thing,
Yeah.
bro. And I didn't eat mojarras for like 20 years because I was terrified that
You're
that was gonna
fucking
happen again. I
lying.
swear.
Dude, that just reminds me like of some of the kids like that end up growing up and have no fucking taste buds and like no le ponga cebolla a mis tacos, no le pongo salsita, and I'm like fool, like what are you eating in your fucking tacos or what are you eating in your burritos or tus pinche tortas like que le estás echando cabrón that you didn't eat mojarras for 20 fucking years and like you didn't eat it until you were 20 something
Me
years
dio
old.
miedo, güey.
As a 20-year-old man, it took you that long to eat.
Me dio miedo, güey.
Well, I mean, I'm afraid of
Bro, I
spiders
thought
to
I
be
was gonna
safe. So.
die, bro, because you can't breathe. And then like every time that you would breathe,
And then
like that shit will fuck.
what if the bone comes out through your throat?
What if,
It's
bro?
valid. It's valid. It's valid.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
wouldn't
Like,
say
and
so.
then like so, cause and then like one time I remember trying to eat it and like breaking up every little piece, and there was still something in one of them, and I was like, God damn! So I was like, I can't do it. And then finally one day, like I got high and I ate it, and because I was high, I guess I was paying so much
It
attention.
was the best shit
It
ever.
took me like 40 minutes to eat one of them.
How big was the fish that it took you to eat? Because if it took you 40 minutes, it wasn't like a small one, right? Was it like a decent size? That's a good size.
Güey, pinche mayonesa, güey,
Le
limón
ponen
encima,
mayonesa,
güey.
limón. Pero ¿de
A
qué
little
salsa
bit
le ponen? Pero qué
salsa
salsa,
roja, güey.
pero sí, güey, pero o sea, ¿de qué salsa? O sea,
No sé, güey, mamá
de
la
chile
hizo,
de
güey.
árbol o qué fue.
No le pregunta, güey, nomás. A
Okay.
little bit of cabbage on the side.
Fire. Do you ever,
Arrocito blanco también,
pero no
güey.
curtes el cabbage, o sea, el repollo con limoncito y salsita y sal un
Obvio.
poquito, obvio que sí. Pero ¿cuál repollo, güey? ¿El verde o el morado?
Mamá would always use green.
Yeah.
Chumalado, no sé.
I like the other one more
Porque
though.
chumalado la verga.
Right on.
But yeah, so you know how to, we should go fishing.
We should go fishing.
We should go fishing.
I don't know if we'll have enough time though.
In the summer, I don't know what happened in the summertime though. We should make a day out of it or a weekend out of it where I don't have any events or anything like that.
Yeah,
And we should just like rent a boat out in like Long Beach or
I'm with it.
like wherever those people go
Go to
fishing
the
and shit.
Catalina.
The
Catalina
Catalina wine mixer.
fish.
Yo, you know that you could take jet skis out to Catalina?
You can also swim out there.
You know that you could take jet skis though?
I didn't
Will
know
you
that.
fucking do that?
I'm down.
Will you be down to do that?
Yeah, I'm down.
Like jet skis, toda la pinche verga, todo.
I'm down. I'm down.
And that shit just imagine you fucking like tip over halfway.
Listen, I'm not afraid to die.
Fucking shark, bro, comes in and just like bites your dick off.
But that would be hilarious though, because it's like, yo, how did Abe die? And then it's like, yo, you're not gonna believe it. This motherfucker took a jet ski. Joel fucking ditched him. This fool fell over. Fool turns around. Abe's drowning. Shark comes, bites his wiener off.
And
Dead
then
in
Joel
the water.
freaks out, runs him over with a jet ski.
Runs me over
Dead.
with the jet ski. Dead. Hits me. Concussion. Oh my god, concussion. I'm dying. Now my dick's gone.
What do I have
What am I gonna
to
do? I can't live it up.
Gotta live a terrible life.
Yeah, and then I'm just fucking done.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool story to tell though. And you have to tell it exactly like that, like from
Yeah.
your point of view. Either
That'd be
that
nuts,
or like dying jumping out of a plane and the parachute doesn't.
Like kind of like Peggy on King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she survived though. I think that was like the
I don't
bummer.
think you would.
That was I wouldn't.
You'll fucking die.
No, I'm way too like fragile.
Yeah.
Fucking I got no meat on me, bro.
Yeah, no te mueres, güey.
No, me morir, güey.
But no, but I saw the jet ski shit and I was like, yo, like that shit might be kind of fire to do. Because I mean,
But
like,
hey.
I'm assuming it's probably gonna be what, like 30-minute, like
We should, if you know,
Right?
if you've ever done that, please like let us know because
it can't be that expensive either.
I mean, it's probably you know.
What, like $100?
Yeah, I would say. I hope so.
Definitely not the worst way I've ever spent.
But here's the thing though, like I'm down for it. I just don't want it to be an inconvenience. So like if it runs out of gas, like
No,
I don't want to be that guy.
Sentado en la más del
I
pinche
don't want to
ocean,
be
like,
that guy that's like, oh, you know, on the 10 o'clock.
oh my
10,
god, yeah,
and then you-
fucking rescue, and then for you, like, there's a fucking storm coming.
right,
El Nino,
something.
terrible.
Really quick. So really quick, I know we've talked about this for like the past year and a half or so, maybe,
Yeah.
if not longer. But lately, it's been one of those topics that have been coming up quite a bit. No, I feel like there's a lot of like some weird tension going on. Where we've been sitting in the back, kind of laughing about it all,
Yeah.
which is hilarious because now it's kind of caught on. And so, I guess the topic of the conversation would be something that the Little Brown Boys actually already talked about, which I thought was hilarious. What are they talking?
Yeah, they had some really funny things. To
Yeah,
say.
they had some interesting things to say, and I mean those shout out to those guys. And but it was a topic about cultural appropriation or some type
Yeah, but I feel
of
like even before we heard that podcast, I heard you talk about like even the cultural appropriation within your own culture.
right, because it's as being from Mexico, right, and then coming here, not to say that we have anything against anybody who was born here or anything like that, but it was definitely one of those things where it's like, okay, just a couple years ago, you were listening to Drake pretending to be blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden, pura raza, puro esto, puro lo otro, indígena, esto, whatever the fuck. And it was just like, wow, like, well, where was that energy when, this many years ago? But what we're referring to is the putting the Virgencita on everything and your mom's clothing. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things where it's like, I love it. I'm all for it. I'm not like one who wears that personally myself, but a lot of the designs that are out there are cool. But how much is too much? And what where does it stop?
I mean, I do feel that, and obviously, again, over and over, everybody can do whatever the fuck they want. Everybody can run however they feel. Whatever it is that you want your brand to be, whatever you want to believe in, whatever you don't, like that's all completely up to you. I feel that even like if you do have a brand, right, something as much as that, we all get one.
Also, like two, three, four, call it quits.
I mean, ya te estás pasando de verga.
All right.
Because at that point, obviously, every brand, and like either for myself, right, and like I got a couple of homies, we will say it's your one piece that your the homage piece,
Simon.
if you will, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's something
It's
that
almost
is
like
in
that in the
everybody's
Águila,
household.
right? Como
Yeah,
la Aguilita de
and
México
and at the
todo.
same time, you won't have this whole thing where it's like, yo, like my grandma never had that shit on a T-shirt, or anything like that. Well, like this also isn't your grandma's brand.
But is it the people's brand?
Well, I mean, but that's something different though. But we'll talk about that right now though too. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I definitely feel that maybe you have like one. It's one Virgencita piece per brand.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but you'll have other brands and it's just like
Overkill.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
M's in
In
my
my
bank
bank
account.
account.
Yeah,
And like
Virgencita's on the t-shirt type shit.
type
That's a
B.
little too much. For
You
sure.
know, and I mean, I don't know. That's just me again.
No, I agree with you.
Because again, it is a quote unquote like cheat code. People are gonna love it. It's gonna do great.
I do think it goes hand in hand because a lot of the times, like, listen, back in high school, growing up in Central California, we had a lot of dudes who made fun of the paisas, right? A lot of the cats that los muchachos que no hablaban, they didn't talk English. They only talk Spanish. Hablaban puro español. So maybe part of that is growing up, or is it just the fact that it's like, oh well, this is what's cool now, so let me go ahead and switch it up. So now, like, I'm no longer like into this, but now it's okay to be El Alucin. It's okay to be, going to Picolandia. It's okay to be doing this, and that. When mad shit was being talked about before, but I
Yeah.
think that's a topic that a lot of people are talking about now in general. But as creatives, I feel like nobody's really even talked about it except for a few people on social media, which we've been seeing a lot lately. Which is why I think it was important for us to kind of talk on it. But even as like clothing brand owners and people who've been in the industry for a while, it's almost like, okay, like now it's just like, to what point does it stop where you're constantly putting the same thing on every fucking piece, or taking other people's artwork and slapping your name on it and calling it your brand or whatever, and almost like, let me throw another beacon
without
on
the
it
permission.
without the permission, not giving credit, throwing the Virgencita on everything because you know a lot of people are gonna fuck with it, and it's like, oh well, maybe they didn't like that design, but let me do it in this way now,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, all right, so like, I don't know, man. I think enough is enough.
Yeah. I mean, look again. There's and obviously I'm not trying to sound like no fucking crazy like bitter old head or anything like that in any way.
I'm just trying to sound crazy.
Because again, it's like, all right, like, so even for me, I think I don't really have any crazy deep meaning to like even like my brand, other than what I told you earlier, which is a deep meaning of just like, yo, like I love making cool shit. And I love making stuff that I've always liked. I've always been into like making clothes, and again, I just want to do it for all those kids with the matricula.
But I think that the most important thing about that, you might not think that is very humble on your end. I mean, as far as that's what I think, but it might not have a lot of deep meaning to you. But to a lot of the people that support you,
Yeah.
myself included, like a lot of that we all grew up on, or their parents grew up on, or
Yeah.
grandparents grew
Yeah.
up on. So that's a deep meaning to them.
And I guess a lot of it like that's also what it is. You know, again, yeah, like growing up again, like the Chicano movement and stuff like this. Like these are stuff that I've seen many times come around and go again. Like again in high school, I remember like I was listening to like Los Seminarios, like Los Bookies, because kids would always be like, "Yo, like what do you listen to? Like let me get the headphone, right?" And like you telling me listening to Spanish music,
Like, oh,
and
come
like,
on,
oh, like
man,
never
get
mind, I
out of
don't
here.
want
We
to
listen
listen
to
to
your
that, right? Like,
mom's music. Like, come on.
and then I was seeing like what I used to call like even like you know in photography were like the Mexican hipster kids, where like it's overly done,
Overly.
you
Which is
know,
that's another thing too. Another topic of
but there's a whole
photography.
other
Let's go
thing
back on.
again, like you know, and for me, I don't know how to draw. I wish I could draw. My I mean, my drawings will come up very abstract. I know
That's
the
so
style of
crazy.
artwork that I like for my brand, and you know, obviously, the first thing I did again is like, well, if I can't do it, let me try to look for someone that can do it. And when I started looking up for artists, obviously, I wanted to make sure that it was somebody that was Raza too, because I was like, I want the money to go back into that.
Not
Like,
just any raza, someone
but not just
from
Raza. Like
Mexico.
now, like let's go back and like put this shit in someone in Mexico.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's when I found out, like, you know, one of the main artists that I started working with the most, shout out Flaka, which I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with now.
Yeah.
Cause,
Apparently, that's a thing now. Where it's just like, let's
but it, again, you know, whatever.
inspire. It's amazing.
But again, you know, like maybe we jumped around a little bit, like right now with those stuff. But then, you know, the other big thing, and one other conversation that me and you have had a lot too, is even with like the pricings of clothes. Where like you know, like you and other people have asked me before too, like, have I ever thought about like raising my prices on certain stuff? I've showed other homies and they're like, dog, like you're pretty much giving some of the stuff away. Like you should be
Yeah.
charging more, especially with like inflation, stuff like that, and all that crazy stuff, right? But for me, again, and what I told you before, like if I want to say that I'm like the people's brand,
Yeah.
it's because I want to make sure that it's like, yo, like anybody could afford my brand. And that was one of the subjects of like you know discussion that was going around that we were looking at today was that
Yeah.
like
And I mean, which is why it's very important, like even for me too, like to keep that price point around the same thing.
yeah
Because again, we have very similar backgrounds. I mean, not being able to buy a lot of the clothing that I wanted to wear for the longest time because it was like, oh damn, like I don't have money like that.
yeah
You know, we struggled growing up in Los Campos, like you know, my parents working in packing
and that
houses
shit
and
must be
stuff
just
like
that shit must
that.
be even harder now for a lot of families like
Yeah, with inflation and
so then
everything,
some
and
kids are like growing up like looking up at you and like seeing like yo like what you're doing talking about like Rasta the community and all this and it's like bro like now you're sending me like a $70 t-shirt like
with the Virgencita on it.
the fucking kids from your own neighborhood can't even afford to buy like stuff that you're wearing, you know. Like again, for me, most of my women tops are like 20, 25 bucks. Because again, I've seen the mom come in with her kids,
Yeah.
and the daughters are asking to buy some of the stuff, and it's when they hear the prices, they're like, oh wow, like okay, yeah, like you know what, I'll get her one or I'll get her two, whatever it is. I mean, I've had some family, you know, they'll come in and like they want to get more, but maybe they don't have enough, and like no me cuesta, like I'm like yo, like because I know what it's like to be there.
Yeah, I was saying we were those kids.
Yeah, but you know, like we'll make
We were
stuff
those kids.
work. And again, it's like it's how do you want to say that you're someone that's for your community? Where it's and it's fucking crazy because it's like it's gentrification of its own. Like the new coffee shop, right? Like coming into your neighborhood, but now nobody in
But
the
throw a
neighborhood.
Latino name on
No, no,
it.
but yeah, but nobody in that neighborhood could afford that coffee.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's like, but then you put that Latino name on it, and it's like, oh, let me expect because it's the new hot wave. But not really many Latinos can actually go and like afford to drink
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
It's you know,
Again, I would like to keep saying that I am like the people's brands.
yeah,
My prices are, I feel like, are very affordable because the same thing is also like I don't need to fucking make a crazy amount of profit on like every fucking piece, but I'd rather be much happier knowing that I'm supplying more people.
and again, there's a niche for everybody.
Yeah,
There's definitely like like not a genre, but just just levels for everybody's price ranges. But I don't think that it should be for the people or the people's brand or this and that when most people can't afford it. And then it's being hyped up so much to the point where it's almost
yeah,
like a wow, this is the next best thing. I don't
false
know. It just
profits.
no, you know, So it's,
No,
it's
but
just
yeah, but
it
it
just sounds
does
a little ghetto to
it
me.
does have that, and it sucks when you see it. I mean, but listen, we're not them. That's not what we're
You're
doing.
not that guy.
No, no, not at all. And it's just again, I just want to continue making like dope shit that I want to wear, stuff that I feel is cool.
I think at the end of the day, right? Because that's usually like some shit that like I would design and be like, yo, this is what I would wear. It might be out of pocket, or it might be like on some like heavier side where it's like, ooh, that's a little too dark. But
Yeah,
then you also have like the light of it all, right? Which is like, I guess like the meaning of mine is like the good and the bad, right? Somewhere between the heaven and hell, like the good
yeah.
and the bad, the sacred, the profane.
Ni santa ni diabla.
Yeah, ni santa ni diabla. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
type like as above, so below type stuff. You know what I
Well, I mean,
mean?
obviously, a lot of us are also like always like both. Like none of us are ever just one.
But we're not perfect, so we can't be good all the time. We make mistakes, we do bad, which is why like for me personally, that's like something that like, hey, and it's like you said earlier with the whole brand thing. Like I've had this many brands. I took this from this. I took this from that. Somebody in DM told me earlier. They were like, "Yo, like for every girl that you've dated or been in a relationship with, you've taken a lesson, right? So you learn the good and the bad." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny you say that because it's kind of like relatable and it's almost like the
You
premise
feel like
of
it is?
for me it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know if I learned,
Yeah.
but I definitely not going back to that. I put a post up today that said, I'm not dating until God sits on my bed and says, "Hey, yo, one of my homegirls wants to talk to you." Banger, by the way. That was a funny ass meme. I don't know where I
Yeah.
found it, but I got a lot of response to it, and it's like, hey, listen, like you learn, right? What brands work, what works for your brand, what doesn't, and you get to a point, and it's like, again, we're not trying to be like all high and mighty on any type of shit like that, but we do like to assume or think. I like to assume that you think me the same way I think of you or my other homies, our other homies, that we're doing something exclusively different in what we like, and it's a little more affordable and just real. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. There's no sense of like, and again, going back to like stuff that we've talked about many times is like I don't ever want to feel like I'm unapproachable.
yeah, we might forget
Like
names.
anybody messages me, like I'm always gonna like write back.
Yeah,
Someone like says hi, I'm always gonna write. Like I'm never like too cool for school or like too cool for like any of that shit. Like
nah, never
again,
that.
every single person who's like supports me like all the time, like you guys are the reason why I'm able to continue to do what I keep doing, and I'm always gonna be extremely grateful and very, very, you know, proud, and it's again like that shit like. Dog, it warms my heart, like seeing people come to markets and just like, yo, I came here for you, bro. Or like I see them come in like wearing stuff that they've already bought for me, because they're like, yo, like I'm gonna go see this guy and like go buy something from him. Like, yo, let me also wear this other sweater that I bought from him.
Right.
And like now I've seen people that like, dog, they've been around with the brand since like I was selling like on the street, like
On
literally on the street
Melrose.
on
Right.
Melrose
From the jump. No,
or
but
Echo
also shout out
Park.
to that person, that girl who, well, you tell him that gangbanged on your ass over there outside of Shoe Palace in Little Tokyo.
Yeah, I mean, like,
That
because the
was
thing is
funny.
like, so the thing is like, I saw her this Saturday at Por Vida, and I know that she came in because I remember her face, but it was crazy because we're coming out of Shoe Palace and the girl's like, "Hey, where's my shirt?" But like very aggressive, and I was just like, I mean, I don't have it with me right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for a
He's lying. He
second, I
had that
couldn't
shit with him
remember.
in the car, and he was about to fucking throw it out the window.
No,
Kidding.
I wasn't. But also, I was just like, I got taken back for a second because I was like, I don't.
But it's definitely one of those moments where it's like, hey, I know that was like it was like on a playful thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, even for me, like to see that, I was like, oh, that was cool as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Someone was just coming up to you and saying, hey, where's my shirt? You know what I mean? And just, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because I mean, just like you said, it warms a heart. You know what I mean? So
And still, bro, I remember the first time that I ever like saw somebody on the street, and I always
hey, did you
again
cry, fool?
again as a dog, like
Did you cry though?
I've no, I haven't no, but like I've talked about this shit even like again when I used to be on Melrose.
Yeah.
Of like, yo, I can't wait to ever have the feeling of like being out like out somewhere random
No, but shout out to
and
Thundercat
seeing.
that day when he saw your
No, no,
jeans.
but hold on, but like,
That was
but
fire.
seeing somebody randomly in the like in the street wearing something that I've made that
Yeah.
I don't remember sending to them. So either someone that bought something from online or whatever.
Right.
So one day we were leaving Rose Bowl, and I had done Rose Bowl with my sister this day,
Yeah.
and I remember we went to Southgate to go pick up some Italian food on the way home, and like I was in the car talking to my sister, my niece had gotten out the car to pick up the food, and like sure enough, like I just see a girl walking by, and she was wearing like one of like the Betty hoodies that has like the black one of like Betty in the car with the dog.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be like, yeah, I like your sweater, and they were gonna be like, all right,
Who the
cool,
fuck
bro.
is
Like, who
that
the fuck
guy?
is this guy? Like,
That's fucking
you
true.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But so I never said anything. But I was like, yo,
Yeah.
that feeling is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
And like I've had people now tell me like a homegirl that works at Disney, she's like, dog, we see people all the time like wearing your stuff. My sister has seen like random customers at the Target where she works at, like wearing like some of the brand and
Yeah,
like.
that's my brother's brand.
So I mean, I don't know if she says
Quick
that or anything.
flex.
Like I don't
She's
know
like,
if she
oh, that's my
says any of
brother's
that. Like I
brand.
doubt it. Like,
No, I think she does.
but I think like it's
I
again.
know I do. I'm like, oh, that's the homie's brand. Like,
It's
oh, you
cool.
know him? Like, yeah. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Type of shit. You know?
yeah,
Nah, I don't do that. Nah, I do.
yeah,
I don't do it.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Did you say peg earlier?
No, I think that's
That's what you said.
That's what you said.
You know,
Yeah.
fire.
So then we're also going to be talking about later on in other episodes as far as like any events that are coming out. Do you have any questions or anything that you want us to talk about?
Or any shit you want to talk at us, or you got any
I want
complaints
to.
and compliments
I
or
mean, you
whatever.
can direct that all to him.
You can direct
I,
that at eighth one. You can go ahead and send me DMs if you like and talk shit to me. I again, like I thrive off that shit. Um, don't send it to him.
I don't care for any of
No,
that.
I'm just gonna block you. No, I'm not gonna block you. I might laugh.
Also, we like food.
We
We
do
like
like food.
eating.
Oh, we'll do the food
We
tours.
want to start doing food tours.
So if you have any food suggestions, right? I mean, if anybody send us food suggestions, any restaurant suggestions.
Well, okay. Whenever this drops,
August.
best
Oh no, it's not. It's gonna be soon.
best Chinese food in LA.
Best Chinese food, best mariscos. I'm a huge marisco fan. I mean, I can eat that shit.
So
all
let's start
day.
off with that.
Mariscos,
Like, let's just see like if anybody has suggestions for like their favorite marisco spots in LA.
and it doesn't matter if it's like Mexican mariscos, Peruvian. By the way, that's a great little quick question. Who has a better ceviche? Some say Mexican, some say Peruvian.
Mexican,
I
Peruvians.
okay. So
What if you get a Mexican?
what if you get a Mexican?
What about if you get a Peruvian guy who's also Mexican?
Or make like a culichi style ceviche with el juguito the Peruvian ceviche. I think that'd be fire.
Imagine.
I can't imagine that. But who though? Who would have the better?
Who the fuck would?
I don't know. But anyways, yeah, just give us food suggestions. Maybe like marisco spots. I know there's quite a bit off of Olympic. I think there's a few food ceviche spots. But we will travel for food. I think, like that one day we did the first food tour. We went in, I think we ate like 6 or 7 times at like 6 different restaurants.
Yeah.
We ended up in little, no, not little.
Which is
Tokyo,
what we
Kincaid.
went in and had a bunch of different food. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't eat for like a solid 2 days.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it was good stuff. We should do it again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.